Hey legends, welcome to week 28 of the Virtus Performance Podcast. Before we get stuck in to today's episode, I'd like to thank all of you guys for listening. If you are enjoying the podcast, please rate, review, subscribe, do all that stuff. Tell your friends, tell your mum, so we can get a few more people getting around it and listening and hopefully getting some life lessons out of the discussions we have. Today I sat down with Alanna Deutrom, who is the founder of Coach Music Academy. She's a incredibly talented singer-songwriter and someone who has travelled the world and had a lot of crazy adventures on her journey through music. She's finished an event management course. She's currently coordinating a tour through the school system and creating a really amazing, product for a significant amount of people, a significant amount of kids to consume and help them find their voice and, find adults who are in our community who they can connect with. So she's a very amazing human. I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. I hope you guys do too. My personal and business goal is to be just a little bit better every day. I believe everyone, especially normal people, have a story to tell. The Virtus podcast exists to help us all find small ways of consistent improvement by discussing the journey and experiences of each of our guests. I think I'm a little bit nervous.
All right, so you can't say that you're nervous, and you can't vocally out loud say it, because then you just believe that you're nervous and then you start freaking out, okay? So what you've got to do is you've got to remember that what you feel when you're nervous is exactly the same sensation that you feel when you're excited. I stopped saying I was nervous and I started saying I was excited, and then it just changed everything.
Well, on that note, I'm very excited for this podcast.
Okay,
Alanna, welcome.
Oh, well,
it's already started, mate.
I know, it's already began. All right, cool.
Thank you very much for coming on. I've been looking forward to this for a little while.
I'm very excited. I'm flattered to be here.
It's I'm really looking forward to this conversation. First question for you.
Okay.
What gets you out of bed in the morning?
Oh, what gets me out of bed in the morning? First thing I do in the morning is I get up and I put my workout gear on and I just get in my car and I drive to the gym and I work out.
Awesome.
And that gets me out of bed.
Cool.
Yeah.
What time do you start?
5:45.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you a morning person?
I am. I think I am. I know that I need rest because I do usually work until about 10 o'clock. Mm-hmm. But I just want to always make sure that I start my day at about 8:39, and so otherwise I lose it. So I want to get up early and get out there. And if I don't go for a walk or I don't exercise, I just can't start properly. So that's my day.
I like that. Do you say train every day?
Usually.
What happens if you sleep in?
I go for a walk.
Awesome. So you're always doing something?
I'd always get up and do something. Otherwise, I feel strange. But on the weekends, I'm a little bit. I don't know. I'll go with a little bit more. But
give yourself a rest when you need it.
Yeah,
cool.
I like to stick to my little structure.
Good.
Yeah,
awesome.
It helps me a lot.
So, from a philosophical sense, What gets you out of bed in the morning?
Do you mean from just my mindset?
Yeah.
I love what I do.
What do you do?
Do you
enlighten us all.
What day of the week?
Yeah, that's a good point. It's Wednesday today.
Yeah, Wednesday. Every day is really different, and I've tried so hard to go and have a normal job, and I'm using my fingers when I say that. But I've tried to go and have a normal job and do the same thing every day, and it just doesn't work for my brain. So
I like that.
I like to do something different. So when you asked me what I was doing today at 12:30, I said I'm going to come and be on your podcast because today is Wednesday and it's a different day.
Awesome. What did you do yesterday?
Well, in general, what I usually do is I sit in front of my computer a lot. I do a lot of admin work. Mm-hmm. It's not as exciting as it looks on Instagram. It's just a lot of emailing, scheduling. I, at the moment, am coordinating a tour, and I'm also running a music school. So I am the one who schedules everyone's lessons in for the week, and I also schedule my own. And so I basically work on that. I work on all the marketing for my business, and I usually have meetings with my business partner. We just chat and we get innovative, and I'm always thinking of exciting ways to, I don't know, just to make people think differently about a music school.
I like that.
Yeah.
So you're kind of going against the grain in terms of what a normal music school is.
Yeah, I hope so. That's what the goal is, and I want people just to feel like it's an experience. And I think that the number one thing my students always say is sometimes it's the best part of their week, and that's another thing that makes me get up in the morning, because I go, this is pretty special. I get to be a part of someone's week and they love it so much.
Yeah, well, if the time someone spends with you is the best time of their week and you love doing it,
yeah,
life's sorted.
Yeah.
This is the meaning of life. And that's the end for today's podcast. We are done. What's it like running a music school?
That's it. What is it like running a music school? It's like, it was the first job that I had when I was 17. I used not running a music school, but I worked for a music school, and I've worked for a few for most of my life, and then I tried all these other things at the same time, but this has been my number one kind of, I guess, money maker. And then I got to a point, and it was only last year, where I thought, you know what, I think I can do this better, and I want to do it myself. And so now most of my days are really fulfilling, because I guess that have you ever seen that TED Talk that's called Multi-Potential Eye?
I don't think so.
Oh my God, you have.
But
yeah,
I will.
Yeah, you
send
have
it
to.
to me.
Okay, I will. I'll send it to you, and everyone who's listening has to go and watch it.
I'll put it in the show notes, the link at the bottom.
Yes. Well, because I used to struggle a lot with feeling like I had to specialise in something. And so I grew up being a singer, and everyone knew me as the singing girl and songwriter, and I did all of these like crazy, unreal things when I was a teenager. I was kind of like Hannah Montana. And I think that I got to a point in my life where I was like, okay, I've been focusing solely on this one career opportunity that I want to have, but there's all of these other things that I want to do. And I just got to a stage where I didn't tell anyone what I was going to do, and I just went and explored other opportunities that I had, and all these creative juices started flowing. And the whole message behind being a multi-potentialer is that you actually have all of these separate things to give. That's cool. And you've got to actually utilize them all. And if you know, as a doctor, you might just specialize in one thing, but for me, I never really truly did, and I like to use all of those different talents that I have.
That's really cool. And like, as someone that never wants to just focus on one thing, that always wants to have 2 or 3 balls in the air, that's really an interesting way of looking at it.
That. Yeah. You would probably be the same.
Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe. So you most likely really relate to it. But it blew my mind. I was like, for my whole life, I sang, so everyone told me that I should be a singer. And it's the same as, you know, if you run, everyone tells you that you should be a runner. And then you get to a point in your life where maybe that hasn't happened, and you feel like a failure, and you have to kind of face that and work through it. And I guess that, you know, you could just sit there and say, I'm a failure, or you could go, you know what, I'm going to actually go and explore all these other things that I do that I didn't even realise that I did. That's
an amazing mindset, and it's cool that you can get that from a probably half an hour talk on YouTube.
Such a good one.
That's amazing. What do you think it was that allowed you to, I guess, make the change and start to find or chase what you wanted to do?
I think it was, well, to give you a little bit of a background, when I was 14, I won this massive competition with Girlfriend magazine.
Good for
and
you.
And I was titled like the Young Girl of the Year. And then from that, I guess, like all good opportunities, the ball started rolling, and I ended up touring Australia with like MTV, the Hot 30 Countdown, like met all these people, started recording, and then all of a sudden I was discovered by this big producer overseas in London.
Discovered is an interesting word.
Yeah, discovered. it's a silly word, isn't it?
It's a little bit.
What's a better word?
I don't know. I don't have a better word.
Okay, all right. So anyway,
I'm just poking holes in the story, but not actually giving you any insight. I'm sorry. Carry on, as you were.
Yeah, no. So anyway, he asked me if I wanted to make an album with him, Oh, coffees have arrived.
Thanks, Mitch.
Yay. Thanks.
This is the reason you get me around.
Yeah.
Awesome. Look at that. I got a tall one as well. It's so generous.
The old mid-podcast coffee delivery.
Have fun podcasting and stuff.
If everyone wants to know, I'm having a soy cappuccino. Hang on, where was I? Oh yeah, being discovered. Anyway, so I'm just going to cut my long story short because it's not really that interesting.
Story. That's the whole point of the podcast, mate.
Okay, cool. So, all right, well, you might regret that. I'm just kidding. Anyway, so I got discovered by this big producer overseas in London, and we were in a studio in Melbourne, and he asked me if I wanted to record an album with him back in the day when you used to record an album. And it was a really big decision, and it was an amazing opportunity. And at the time, I would have been like 15.
That's a huge decision to make when you're 15.
Like massive. And at the same time, I was like, how can I say no? This is so exciting. Yeah. And the thought of even going to London, I would feel like a pop star. I'm ready. Like every 15-year-old wants to be famous.
Definitely.
So, yeah, I put on a flight and I went to London and I started recording and working on an album. And that was when I started year 11, which maybe was a bad decision.
Yeah, so you decided to do both.
Yeah, I decided to do both. So that whole year I did school and I did my career, and every 3 months I would go back to London and I would go there for maybe 4 weeks at a time, and we would work on something different. So we'd write, we would record, and then I'll never forget one time I actually went to come back. I left to go to my trip to go back, and he said, next time you come back we're going to record a video clip. I was like, oh my God, this is so exciting.
Yeah.
So anyway, that whole journey happened and we made this album, and before I knew it, like I was singing in front of every single record label in Australia. I was doing showcases in London.
Huge.
I was, I started touring around the UK. They'd made a band for me over there.
Awesome.
And, I really loved it. It was so exciting, and it built my confidence a lot. I spent a lot more time with adults. And I think that I would kind of come back and maybe my interest in school started to go down a bit.
I don't understand why at all.
Yeah, and then I started year 12 and I dropped out. So I didn't finish year 12.
Yeah.
And my mum was pretty upset about that. But it was a really good decision, and at the time I don't regret it at all. It just taught me everything that I think I needed to learn at that time. And I just built myself, and I ended up finished that whole contract when I was 19, because they just didn't really get me. They found me when I was 15, and then I was 19. It's such a developing age. You always would have been
like a different person when you finished at 19.
Yeah, and because the music we'd recorded, we hadn't released it.
Yeah.
But we'd been working on it, performing it, and it was kind of getting old now. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this myself. I'm sick of this standard, my Alanna attitude. And so I did an independent release of music here in Melbourne, and I found some producers and we wrote them, and I was really excited. And I was like, this is like an expression of who I am right now, and that's what music is anyway.
Yeah.
But then I had this product in front of me, and I think that's the moment that my entrepreneurship kind of began, because and I didn't even realize it at the time, because I thought, I have to sell this to people. What's the point of having this in front of me and nobody knows about it?
A lot of people don't consume it,
Yeah. So I came up with an idea to tour my EP around Victorian high schools.
Cool.
And I did 10 schools, and I organised the whole thing myself, and it was to raise money for the Reach Foundation, which we went, you would have remembered the Reach Foundation from high school.
Definitely. Yeah. I had one of their facilitators on a couple of weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Awesome.
Oh, amazing.
Amazing organisation.
Such an amazing organisation.
Some incredible people.
And they made an impact on me in high school, and I wanted to support them. So, I did this tour. I was literally the sound guy. Every day before the show, I would drive to Brunswick, borrow all the gear from a friend, drive it to the school, set the whole thing up, mics, leads, everything. And then my band would come. I'd set up the drum kit. It was full-on show. And I'd always get a few students from the school to support me beforehand, and it was like a gig.
Yeah,
so it was really cool. And then I guess for that split second, I felt pretty famous, because all the kids were like, "Whoa, yeah, Alanna.
That's awesome.
And yeah, it was really fun. And I did that, but it was just, I think the main lesson I learned from that is that you can't do everything.
Yeah.
Well, you can.
Well, you can if
should.
you can. Yeah. Well, you can if you want. Like, it's almost you've had two contrasts with. Like, I'm sure you would never have had to set up any of the sound stuff for the first 4 years.
Yeah.
And then going to doing it all yourself. It'd teach you a little bit.
Yeah, it did. It taught me so much, and I think that the whole concept was amazing, and what we were gaining from it was insane. But it was me and my mum. My mum would come and make sandwiches for the band, and we would just drive to each school. But I just couldn't keep going because I was exhausted and I needed a team.
Yeah.
It's really important to have a team
You can't do
around
that by
you.
yourself forever.
Yeah, I needed to delegate the work.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't have the chance to do that. So I ended up finishing that, and then what else did I do? Then I was songwriting for a long time, I landed tracks for different people and kind of went on that path, and then I thought, well, maybe I'll try country music because everyone's told me that, my music's got some country elements to it, and I like country music. So I started doing that. I went to Nashville. I rode over there.
Awesome.
I toured around, and then I came back and I thought, oh, you know what? I'm going to release a country song. Why not? So I released my debut country single, and we got it to number 3 on the Australian country music charts, which was pretty fun.
That's incredible.
It was really cool.
Awesome.
And I actually loved the whole process of creating that again. It was creating another product for me and marketing it. And I had, do you remember it was called 103? I don't know if you recall.
Mate, I've been listening to your music on YouTube all morning. It's been awesome.
So I got all my friends to dress up as old people, and it's just
super cool.
It's just a song about, all the things you want to do before you die. And it was really fun, and so we did a big single launch, and I had all my friends there just welcoming everyone in, and they were dressed as old people. They were just going nuts, in wheelchairs and giving people cupcakes, and everyone was getting drunk, and it was hilarious. It was a really fun night. And then all of a sudden I was presenting Casey Chambers with the Golden Guitar award at the Golden Guitars in Tamworth, and
that's awesome.
I think that I paused for a moment. I was like, you know what? If you put your mind to something, you can do it. Because I got asked to be one of the trophy presenters at the Golden Guitar Awards, and I had just entered into that scene, and all of a sudden I was in a room with everyone who was anyone in the country music industry.
Looking up to.
Yeah, and I never forget, this one girl was like, who are you? I was like, I don't even know. But I think that I felt like I was going around in circles. I was just continuously chasing my tail. Yeah. And then I would get to a point where I'd get really close, that door had been ajar, and then it would close. And then I just kept knocking at the same door. Yeah. And I didn't see all the other doors around me. Yeah. And so that's when I decided that I'd kind of take a little bit of a spin, and I did an event management course, and I put my music on hold. And
how long ago was that?
That was last year.
Yeah. How old are you now?
Last year. I'm 25.
25. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a crazy 10 years.
It was pretty nuts.
Yeah.
I've done lots of things. The other day I was trying to think of all the roles that I've actually had, and I was trying to say it in one breath. I was doing a talk the other day.
Trying to say it in one breath.
And it was there's just so many things. But it's fun. I really like exploring everything. But that whole time that I did all of that, I was teaching. From when I was, 18. Yeah. I started teaching, and I really always loved it. So I would do my event management course, did that for 6 months, and it was 9 to 5 every day, and then I would drive back from the city. I would teach until about 9 or 10, and then I'd get up in the morning, go back and do it again. And I never really questioned doing it. And when I had a moment to pause, when I started, doing internships with event companies and worked on fashion shows and did these really fun things. And I remember just going, but I got to make sure that I keep teaching, because I don't want to let those students down. I love being a part of their week. I never realised how important it was to me.
Do you think you've had many chances to properly sit down, take a breath, and look back at all the stuff you've done? You're probably able to do it now, I guess.
Yeah.
But during?
No, not really. It kind of felt like a roller coaster. Yeah. Because music is such an emotional part of you, and I guess, do you sing? Do you do it? No.
I'm like the worst singer ever.
Challenge accepted.
Ooh, yeah.
No, but it's such like, it's just like an extra part of you.
Yeah.
And I guess like any passion is. And every time it didn't work, I just felt like it was this massive failure for me.
Yeah.
And everyone in my life, like no one even asked me how I was. They always said.
They just assumed.
Like, how's your singing going?
Yeah.
And so that was my identity, and it was really hard to separate myself from that. And it took a long time, and I feel like now I was like slowly being recognised for different things.
Yeah, I can relate to that a little bit. Like, and most of the people close to me will understand how this kind of affected me and stuff. But footy was always the one thing I was asked about.
Yeah.
Like, I could write the 3 questions, and you would probably be exactly the same. The 3 questions everyone would ask.
Yeah.
Everyone that wasn't in that close circle.
Yeah.
And you get so sick of asking the same questions, and you're just like, there's so much more going on up here. But that's cool that you're now able to express that and talk about all those different things you did.
Definitely.
How important for you, or do you think it was important that you maintained the teaching throughout the whole thing? Did that allow you to stay grounded?
Well, it was the perfect job because it gave me freedom during the day to, explore all these other things that I could do. And then at nighttime, I could work and enjoy what I was doing.
Yeah.
But it was really important because I think that teaching, and you would relate to this too, it keeps you really grounded. Yeah. Because it makes you you empathise with your students and who you're helping, and you get to give back. And I think that like one of the main things that gives me fulfillment is actually like helping other people. And I feel like I'm pretty good at it. So yeah, I think it was really, really important, and it makes sense now that I look back. So yeah. Yeah.
Well, you looking back kind of allows you to use your hindsight as all the kids that you're teaching and all the students. It's their foresight because you've got all these experiences that you're able to, I guess, put together and help them to move forward.
Yeah, definitely. I know sometimes like I've had some students for like a long time, like the whole period that I've even been teaching. That's amazing. I feel like a part of their life.
Yeah. And you are.
Yeah, I know, and it's really special, and I think that it's extra special because sometimes I'm really disconnected from their life as well. Yeah. So it's this kind of separate thing that they get to do for themselves, and they can just tell me about everything that's going on in their world, and then they can write songs about it and they can sing about it, and it's really therapeutic for them, so it's cool.
That's awesome. What, like, apart from I guess seeing what you wanted to change in the industry, what made you actually pull the trigger and start coach music?
I was frustrated because I was working for another music school and it just wasn't growing. I saw all the potential in it. I had so many ideas and they just were being heard, but they weren't actually being responded to. And I just actually, because I have a business partner, his name is Josh, and he's amazing, and I worked with him at his house last year, and both of our businesses weren't growing, and his wife is a singing teacher too, and I turned to him and I said, I'm going to leave this unnamed singing school and I'm gonna start something, and I really believe in it, and I want you guys to come with me.
That's awesome.
And he was in a point in his life where he was feeling frustrated, and we were both, I think, just in the right time for change. Yeah. And we are both really innovative, and whenever we would sit down, we would just have all these like huge big business ideas. And I said, you know what, I'm doing it, and basically like, you better come. And so we like joined forces, and
that's awesome.
It's really awesome because we've got such a great team, and like we really respect each other, and it's great.
It's awesome. Do you both have the same, are you coming from the same, I guess, angle? Do you have the same?
No,
would you butt heads a little bit?
No, we're different. Like, we have different strengths, and we understand them. Like Josh is still really creative, but I think that I'm like the marketing, creative, like day-to-day kind of stuff, and he's, had his own marketing business before, and he knows how to run, like, oh my God, like, if you see him do a spreadsheet, you just lose your mind. And it's really good because it's helped me to kind of systemize what I do a little bit more. And yeah, I think that those two traits together, like
that's perfect.
That was never really a strength of mine, and I'm learning, because you always learn.
Well, you have to learn that stuff. Yeah,
I have to. It's so important. And for so long, with everything I did, I never actually thought about like the financial side of things, or it wasn't about the profit. It's more about just like doing it for fun.
Yeah.
And then you get to a point where everyone starts going, "When are you going to buy a house? Like, what are you going to get married?" And you're like, "Oh man, I have to like have money to do that."
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
It's actually a really good combination.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What's been the biggest challenge in the last 18 months?
The biggest challenge in the last 18 months, I think for me, it's been maybe like juggling my personal life and my work life, because starting a business is like a relationship.
Oh yeah.
And it's like that first year, it's like, oh my God, I'm so in love. And then everything else just like blurs away. And then you start to just forget about just little things.
Yeah.
And you get just really engrossed in it. And so I think that I've just fully been so in love with what I've done over the last year that I guess maybe one of the challenges is making sure I make time for everything else in my life, because in the end, like, that's going to give me a like really fulfilled life.
I like that. How do you go with the work-life balance? Because like running a business, you've got all these things you got to think about.
Yeah.
And then you try and disconnect and hang out with friends or family or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you're still kind of half thinking about it. How do you go with it?
I think I do well, although my mobile, it is the connection for everyone. So like for me personally, I have about 35 students. And so 35 people are texting me every week. And then my friends are texting me.
Yeah.
And I've started this new thing now where I don't open the message until I know I can sit down and read them.
Good.
And then I can reply.
I like that.
Yeah, except I have to do that with my friends as well.
Yeah.
Because otherwise
you give like you're kind of not
blurry.
really paying attention to the response, and then you're like, oh, what did I actually say?
Yeah,
and things
I
like
know.
that.
I'm not in it. So, and then I'll think of someone in my mind and go, oh, I better shoot them a text message, and then realise that they've sent me a text message and I haven't replied, and I just feel
But at least
bad.
if it's unopened, you know it's there, and then you can get back to them and
Exactly.
actually put your full attention to that.
Yeah.
Like I've struggled with the same stuff.
Yeah.
Having all the different clients and then all the staff and then friends and family and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that I've changed over the last like maybe 2 months is I turn all my notifications off.
Nice.
So for me to read an email, read a message,
You
check a
have to go
Facebook update, whatever. Yeah, exactly. I need to go find it. I need to go searching for it. So I'll only really do it if I've got the time.
Yeah.
If I don't have the time or I haven't allocated the time to do that, it just stays there.
That's good.
And then, but then we live in this world where people want that message back straight away.
And I know. And so like I'll manage all of the inquiries too.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that I'm checking my emails all the time, because I don't want one to, go unseen and then someone doesn't get to have that lesson for that week. But we started using, I'm not sure if you do this with Virtus, but we started using Slack at the start of the year.
We've tried to implement it a couple of times, but
Hasn't worked?
No, not yet.
See, we love Slack. Like, Slack is life.
Yeah. and I've heard that from so many people, so I keep going. I think we've tried properly to do it, but we've got we a decent sized team now, and I feel as though it gets lost a little bit because everyone's got their own stuff. And 14 is just too, I don't think it would be too many if everyone was committed to using it. Yeah. But that's a big room for improvement for us, is finding that one way to communicate.
Yeah, definitely. It's pretty hard with, you got 14 of us. 14 of you now.
Way too many.
Yeah. See, we've got...
Let's start firing some people.
No, I think especially for Josh and I, we would send a Facebook message to each other, a text message to each other, an email. Yeah. And so now...
work stuff through Slack.
Everything is through Slack. So, and we will hashtag marketing ideas, and just every topic that we want to talk about. That's put it in there. And especially for Jackson's schedule, Alicia's schedule, all of our different schedules, we'll have a conversation about it. But it is hard to get the whole team always on board, chatting all the time, because they're not as passionate about the business side as us, but they are. Everyone loves it.
How many of you guys are there?
There is 6.
Awesome.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah.
What are the different roles and responsibilities of everyone?
Well, we've got
Don't forget anyone.
I know, I'm thinking right now. Well, I'm thinking of their roles. Like, everyone kind of has their own individual role with looking after their students.
Yeah.
So we have, right now, Santana, Kylie and Alicia, myself, Josh, and Jackson. But Kylie's subbing in for Jackson for teaching at the moment. So I guess that every teacher's responsibility for themselves is just to, you know, make sure that they have made all their students happy, they're communicating with them, but I do like their scheduling for them, and I run like all their payments and everything like that. So they kind of, my ideal situation for any teacher that we have is for them to just rock up and they teach. And
I like that.
They just get to be, they don't have to think about all that stuff, because for a long time I would be, as the teacher, like taking someone's money, and I hated it. Sometimes they get to the door like, no, I don't want to take your money.
Yeah. That is a hard one. And I think like our business is probably fairly similar to yours in that aspect. We've got coaches that coach but then have to do all the admin stuff behind. How do you feel? Do you feel as though that system works with you kind of overseeing everything?
It is, because I started doing direct debits instead of taking
tick the box.
Tick a box, and then I can just, you know, control it all in one area, see what's happening with everyone. Otherwise it's really messy. And, you know, teachers, they're not like, for us, they're not hired to, you know, own a little franchise or own a little business. They're actually just hired to teach, because they're great teachers.
I like that.
And so we want to make it as easy and stress-free for them, and we just want them to feel like they enjoy every aspect of their job, and that way, you know, they'll want to keep doing it. So yeah, sometimes like people don't know how to deal with the money thing, so we just have a system. This is how it works. This is what you do when you sign up if you want to be a part of it.
That's cool. And then has Josh helped with a lot of those systems and processes and things that you need to tick the boxes?
Yeah, absolutely. We've sat down and worked on it together, and he's done some epic spreadsheets. So every teacher, we all have a spreadsheet.
Scare me.
Oh man, I'm starting to actually like spreadsheets now. I was like, ooh.
Ooh, if I put that there, that shows up.
Yeah, that's exactly. Cool. Well, because I've been doing the tour as well.
Yeah.
For that, I've had to get on board spreadsheets and be really on top of it, because I did it in my event management course.
Yeah.
And for something like that, just remembering all the details for all the shows that we do, it's a lot.
That's an amazing segue. Talk to me about the tour. Enlighten me.
Okay, so we started this. Oh, look, I haven't even turned my phone
You're the worst.
Oh my god.
Sorry guys, technical difficulties.
What? Sydenham. What? Sorry guys. I'm going to turn that off. You can delete that bit, right?
No, I'm keeping it.
Hang on. So, I would love to talk to you about our tour. I really love it. It's amazing. So in June this year, it was probably a little bit earlier than that, I wanted to bring back my school tour that I guess I had done when I was 19, but in a different way. So this was inspired because most weeks I have at least one person come into their singing lesson and they cry. And not in a bad way. Yeah. But music just allows them to just let out everything they're feeling, everything they're expressing.
That's pretty powerful.
Yeah, and so they have these moments in class where, you know, they'll go to sing a song and they'll just break down. And it's emotional for me because, you know, I've got a connection with them and I see it, but I just kind of sit there and I just let them just let it go. So it's a little bit like, sometimes I ask myself, am I a counsellor or a singing teacher?
I think that's a regular coach question.
Yeah.
If you coach, doesn't matter what you coach, that's something that you've got to be okay with.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that, I don't know, maybe because you're in a one-on-one situation, people allow themselves to do that and to feel like that, which I think is awesome. But I started just seeing it reoccurring, and at the end of last year, one of my students' mums came up to me and she said, I want to thank you so much because my daughter has been going through, you know, depression and anxiety for a really long time, and I've been sending her to a lot of specialists and people, and she hasn't really been able to connect with it. And ever since she started singing,
that's amazing.
It's changed her, and she's so much happier. And obviously, it's really important to see someone when you're feeling like that. But, you know, for certain situations, maybe you need to have a purpose, or maybe you need to just just have to let out how you're feeling. You don't know how to do that, and sometimes you just can't.
Well, if you can find that one thing that you can express what you love, whether it is exercise or whether it's singing or dancing or whatever, it doesn't really matter. If you can find that one thing,
like exercise is definitely something for me that allows me just to like get out of my head and just do my thing. But yeah, and so at the start of last year, I guess it was like a little idea that we were just kind of going, maybe this could happen, maybe not. And I went to my old high school, Frankston High, and for their mental health week for the year 9s. And Josh,
I bumped into you there, didn't I?
I did, yes. Yeah, you were there too. See, the importance of music and fitness.
Yeah,
it's a thing,
definitely.
Right? So that's when it all kind of started.
Yeah.
And so we were there, similar to you, we were taking all the same classes, and we were doing a music program with them and talking about how, you know, music impacts your mental health and how you can actually use music.
Definitely.
And yeah, it was really cool. And by the end of our little like class, we got them all to write a song and sing together. And
that's awesome.
Because whenever I have group classes, when you sing in a group, it regulates your heart rate, it helps you connect with people, and obviously it allows you to express how you're feeling. And after that week, I was like, this is so cool. Like, what we did was really fun.
Yeah.
I learned also that I don't think I want to be a school teacher. Did you feel like that?
Yeah, it's my partner's a school teacher, and she was like, I came home and I was like, I'm cooked. And she's like, oh, see what I deal with every day. And like, we had the whole year, like 9 and 10 cohort, or not year 9 cohort in 2 days. So settle down.
Yeah.
But it is incredibly difficult, and it's a job that
the respect I have.
Teachers are amazing people.
Oh, absolutely. The patience is good, and the control over the class. Lots of things like just.
We can't pump them up too much. They get like 50 weeks a year holiday anyway. So.
Yeah. I hope she's listening.
I'm going to get in trouble for that.
And anyway, so from there we had over, I think it was like a 2-week holiday for school holidays.
Yep.
So let's actually take this around high schools, but let's do it differently. So basically we started it's a mental health youth program wrapped into a music show.
Cool.
So when students leave, it's like they've left a concert and they feel so excited, so amped up. And you know how if you go see a big band playing a stadium, you just feel so inspired.
Amped up's a good way of describing it. Because you just leave and you're just like, oh, it's so good.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's kind of the feeling that we wanted people to have. And so we've put together a team of amazing singers who are all pursuing their careers.
Amazing.
Some who've been on like the X Factor and The Voice, and others who are doing more of an indie path with their music. And we asked them if they want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
We started rehearsing, and then by September we had a show all booked in. We had kind of organised how the whole presentation was going to go.
Yeah.
And so each performer gets up and they all sing together, and then they get up and they talk about how music has impacted their mental health, and they all share a really personal story about something that's happened in their life. And then we have myself or Josh, and we get up and we educate the kids on, you know, how music can help us, and we talk about that, and we kind of have a moment where we allow them to kind of like maybe let out how they're feeling. And then we get everyone to sing together.
That's cool.
And at the end, at this last tour, I'm not sure what we'll do next year, but we've been getting everyone to sing Lean On Me. And it's so amazing. Like all these kids, like sometimes we'll have 200 or 400 students in a hall, and they'll be like hand in hand, like arm each other, like with their friends.
That's awesome.
And they'll be all just singing as loud as they can, like Lean On Me. And the energy in the room is just amazing.
They're huge.
So yeah, we've been, how many schools? I think we've seen about 20 schools, and we've actually performed in front of 5,131 students. I counted it.
That is very specific.
I know.
That's cool.
5,131. I counted each time, of course. Like, who wouldn't? But so in that 3 months, we've toured like crazy, and so I've been behind the scenes just planning the whole show, all the tour. Like, we've been doing regional shows as well, which we found have been huge impact on the communities.
Yeah.
And it's also opened all of our eyes to just how lucky you are sometimes to have a bigger community, because a lot of these students will
get stuck in that like bubble, especially us down here on the peninsula. Like we got like everyone knows everyone on the peninsula, but it's almost like that big like community is a perfect word, that tribe of people that all support each other. In one way or another. So to see how the smaller areas deal with being in a small area is probably pretty interesting.
It's really interesting because I guess imagine if you're at school and someone's bullying you and you honestly there's like 20 people.
Yeah.
And you don't have anyone else to turn to. So we've learned a lot about that. But I think that the number one thing that I've learned from the show, even for myself, my own mental health, is that everyone's journey in mental health is really different.
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of students come up afterwards and tell us like certain stories. We had one boy come up to us. It was in Wonthaggi after the show, and he was like this big burly guy, and he said, "Thank you so much for coming today. Like I really enjoyed what you did."
Yeah.
And we obviously said thank you, and he said, I've been to 56 foster homes.
All right.
And he said that I've never like really felt it was he just felt like so open with how he was feeling. He just kind of like let it all out, and he was like, never really found like I connected with anyone, or haven't really truly had a family. And wow, like that hit me really hard. And
That's
then
huge.
he just cried. He just like let it all out. He sat there and he just cried, and it was really, really powerful for us to see that, because I think that because we were all openly talking about these little things or these big things that had happened in our life, it allows everyone else to start those conversations. And some, like one of our performers gets up and talks about her anxiety, but she says, she doesn't actually know why she gets it. Like she feels like she has a great life, but sometimes she just gets anxious. And
that's so powerful
do.
Because there's like all the third of the kids that have felt anxious and have that anxiety will immediately like respond to it, and they'll feel connected.
Exactly.
And then each person that comes up will give a different story and connect another group of kids, and
that's it.
Next thing you know, everyone's ready to go, and that's probably why you get such a good response at the end when you sing.
I think so. Yeah, everyone starts to really just kind of understand what the whole message is. But I guess we just want to let them know that if they're having a bad day, like go turn on a song that's going to make them feel better, or turn to a passion that you have in life. We always talk about how important it is to have a little bit of an outlet, and that can be sport and exercise too.
Yeah.
And it's just a way for you to feel like you can express yourself. But yeah, after that day in Wonthaggi, we were all so inspired, and we just felt like this is like what we're doing is really great. And so I guess since September, my brain has just been like fuzzy.
What next?
I don't know. No, you know what? I've actually surprised myself and been really focused.
Oh, good.
Which is really good, because I feel really fulfilled. I feel like, yes, this is amazing, and we're giving back, and we're doing something that we all really enjoy. Yeah. And we've created a really great team around what we're doing too, which is really important for us.
Huge.
Yeah, so, and all the artists, they love touring around the schools, and all the kids get so excited to meet them. But
it almost like it justifies and validates like all of your whys, like why you're actually doing it, because you get that, yes, you're doing something you love, but you're helping other people at the same time. So it's kind of that perfect system where everyone wins.
Yeah, it really is. It absolutely is. And that's really cool, because the schools, like, they often say, like, especially some of the last ones we went to, they're like, this is one of the best things that's come to our school for a really long time.
Which is an amazing thing.
It's amazing. And we're constantly going, we just want to make it better. Like, what can we do next? Like, how can we grow it? And I would love it to be an organisation. I would love to change the way that music is delivered sometimes in education. I found that I wasn't actually involved in the music program in my high school.
Really?
Yeah, and I just kind of felt like it didn't really encourage expression. It kind of encouraged, other aspects of music, which are just as important. Yeah. But we need to all understand that we don't even realise that we use music every single day.
Yeah.
We watch a movie, and the reason we cry is because of the song there. And the reason that ad makes us happy, or we remember it, is because of the music behind it. So just trying to find ways to actually educate ourselves and to know, you know what, if I'm maybe not feeling so good, there are things that I can do to calm myself down, to help myself relax, to focus. Like all these students, I always tell them, like, when I'm sitting there doing my work during the day, sometimes there's no one there. I just go into Spotify and I'm like, study music, focus music.
Same.
And it sits there. It
exactly
helps.
the same. Like, I've got like YouTube players open pretty much all the time.
Yeah.
Press play, like when I'm in my office.
Yeah.
And I think, like, from my own personal experience, I connected with music with my mum and dad when I was growing up, but never really loved music until I started connecting with a few friends about the music we loved.
Yeah.
And then fell in love with Triple J and then all the festivals and all that kind of stuff. And now, like, I know that if I am feeling a certain way or I want to feel a certain way, that I just pick a certain song or a certain album or a certain
you would select certain playlists when you're doing workouts with your clients.
Definitely.
Yeah. And do you think
it changes the whole mood because, you know, and like I like sometimes having chilled out music when we're training, sometimes having, you know, something really quick, but it's really easy way to change the vibe of a room.
Yeah.
If I need everyone to chill out, put something chill out on. If I need everyone to get up and about and they're not, and everyone's had a big day and we've got a big group at 6 and everyone's just not up and about, bam, music is what's going to change that.
Yeah.
And it allows us to, I don't know, almost self-regulate how everyone's feeling, which is cool. Like you put the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air soundtrack on and everyone's jumping up and down. Like, you know, you put the Titanic theme song on while everyone's laying down and everyone's laughing and smiling. Like it's it's a really easy way to connect, and it's something that it's probably not taught as well as enough in schools in terms of how important it can be.
Yeah.
I did a podcast this morning and I asked the question, what are the 5 things if you were to go through school again that you wish they taught you?
Oh, I wish they taught me taxes.
Taxes? That's one of my answers.
Yeah, I wish they taught me that. I wish they taught me how to save. I can't work out why no one taught me how to save, and I've just worked it out.
Yeah, good.
I wish that someone had taught me... I wish that they taught me, like, how to fix a tyre on a car, you know? Or just It
should be a class called, like, life skills.
Like, life skills.
Yeah.
And...
to fix a tyre, hang a picture.
Yeah, hang a picture. Like, all those things. There's little things, like, how to cook from a fridge that you don't even, like, know what all the ingredients are in there.
Yeah.
Like, just, I don't know. I think that there are, like... Even how to dream. Like, I don't actually feel like that's where my inspiration came from. Like, I loved the school that I went to. It was awesome. But, you know, we're always just taught that this is the sequence of your life.
Yeah.
And this is what your next step is.
Oh, 100%.
And I've always liked to feel a bit uncomfortable and kind of breach that a bit. So
that's something I've always struggled with. I guess, I don't necessarily know why, but I've always seen, you know, go to school, go to uni, get a job, get a house, like have a family, retire, die. Like that just scares the shit out of me. Like in terms of, if you ask me what my biggest fear would be, like that really simple sequence would probably be my answer. That's the first time I've actually thought about it like that. But we're never taught, and like going to the school we went to, we're able to, you know, I guess we're taught how to do all the basic stuff really well, but we're not taught to, hey, why don't you give that a crack, or why don't you give that a crack, or why don't you chase that crazy dream you've got.
I think that the thing is they just don't teach you to take risks. And I think the best things I've ever done in life were risks.
One of my favourite, one of the ways that we set goals is, or we've got a couple of different ways, but your kind of big crazy dream is what scares and excites you at the same time. Find something that scares and excites you at the same time and go and do it. And magic always happens. And that's been something that's resonated with so many people since we started using it, that if they chase that, everything else follows. All the material stuff, all of the things that you feel as though you need, that stuff becomes insignificant because it's just secondary to actually why you're actually doing it.
So true.
Which is so important.
I always used to think that I wanted to be famous. And what an empty, awful dream. Like, seriously, why did no one say that to me? It took me a long time, but now, like, what I want out of life is I just want to feel, I've said it so many times, my number one word is fulfilled. Like, I just want to feel happiness in, you know, all these different parts in my life and try and put equal effort into each of them. But I don't have this craving to be, like, amazingly recognized or to be famous. I just want to be that person that people go, like, Alanna, help me with that, or, you know, I'm going to call Alanna.
You want to be able to make a difference, whether it's
definitely
past or present.
Absolutely.
That's huge.
Yeah, I think so.
You've used it a couple of times. What does the word failure mean to you?
I think that was one of my main struggles, was failure, because everyone told me that I was a product and that I had to be perfect. And then when I wasn't, it was really dramatic, but I felt like failure was this just like, nah, you don't have any other options. You're done. Like, you're done. Like, what have you done?
Yeah.
But I think now failure is exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I think that all the times I've actually failed, I'm doing the finger thing again. They're the times when I've actually made a change, and it's usually the time when you're supposed to make a change. So I love failing. I tell them when, you know, I have students come in. I've actually had a lot lately who are in their 20s and they've never pursued music.
Yeah.
And I've always asked them, like, why? Like, what's the reason? Like, I've always been too nervous. Like, I'm not confident enough, all this stuff.
Yeah.
And they hit a bung note and they look at me and they do this face, and I call it the face. I'm like, you're not allowed to make the face. Like, no, the face is in here. And I just say, in this space here, you're allowed to fail, because it means that you try something different.
Yeah.
And otherwise you're never going to grow if you don't. So
100%.
I think failure has changed a lot for me, but it was something that, I definitely struggled with. But now I'm like, it's all sweet. I'm allowed to fail.
Yeah, that's awesome. And the ability to actually go, you know what, if I fail, if I fuck up, then I'm able to go, well, it didn't work, I can try something else.
Yeah.
And I think when we're, like, it's probably comes from school and parents and not wanting to fail and not wanting to struggle with something. And like you said, like the way your mum reacted to you not finishing year 12. And like, I dropped out of a master's degree because I was just like, I don't want to do this. This isn't for me. Some people go, I failed, but I made it, and you would have made the same decision. I made a decision that my life would be better off without that.
Yeah.
And that success wasn't necessarily me finishing that, and yours wasn't necessarily finishing year 12. Yeah. And now look at you. You're kicking goals, which is awesome.
Okay. What does success mean to you?
Oh, great question. We actually talked about this morning as well. I'm going to give you a short answer.
Okay.
It's waking up in the morning and going to bed at night and doing whatever I want in between.
Oh, I like that.
So it's a really simple one, and I've kind of used that over the last 12 months or so, because it's really simple. And like, for me, what I want would vary from day to day.
Yeah.
At the moment, I guess it's all based around our why, and our why is I want to make the world a better place through health and fitness.
Yeah.
Like, really, really simply.
And you're doing that.
Yeah, and we're slowly doing that, which is cool. And the thing I've got to keep going back to is that it takes time, and I need to be patient.
Yeah.
But I think the cool thing, like, success is, for me, it's achievement. And achievement can be something as simple as, you know, recording a cool podcast that 3 people listen to it, really get a lot out of it. Like, it doesn't have to be on a massive scale. And I think that's where, like, you wanting to be famous, you'd probably lost your way a little bit, because if I can have a really cool session in the morning with one person and I've made their day better, and you can do the same tonight if you're teaching, like, life's good.
Yeah.
And it's being able to, this is something our physio Greg's been able to teach me or force me to understand, is that you'll never necessarily, if you always focus on what you're chasing, you'll never necessarily be happy.
Yeah.
If you allow yourself to stop, take a breath, and like, look back at how far you've come, then you can keep moving forward, knowing that you're content and fulfilled.
Exactly.
I think that's a really important word.
Yeah. I agree 100%. I really liked what you said.
What's your definition of success? Now.
Can I just copy your answer?
Nah.
Right now, do you know, actually, it's interesting you say this. When I was pursuing, you know, my career and all that stuff, I remember when I had the turning point, I was like, I said to my friend, I was like, all I want to be is a successful singer. She turned to me and she's like, you are. And I had this moment where I was like, oh, maybe I am. And I think that, like, exactly, success is whatever you want it to be. And you're successful right now. Like, look at where you are. Look at what you've created. It's success.
Yeah.
And I think that I can say that I feel successful in my career right now.
Awesome.
And I feel successful in, you know, my personal life too. There's always ups and downs and all these things that come in the way, but I think, what you said, you got to pause and reflect and just remember that you don't need all that other stuff that, you know, you're dreaming about. That's not when you reach success, because when you get there, you want
There's
more.
something else, There's always going to be another mountain. I think Miley Cyrus said that.
Yeah. I she did too. So I think that we're already successful, but we have to pause and recognize it.
Yeah, and it's like for me, and I think for a lot of people, it's just checking your ego. And if you can check your ego and say, you know, I don't need to be chasing all that stuff, and I be happy with where I am, then like life's gonna be okay. Like even when bad stuff happens, and it always does, it allows you to kind of come back to it and enjoy the little things. And it's a conversation I have with all of my clients a lot, and I'm sure you probably have the same conversation. It's allowing yourself to enjoy the little wins, and it's something that I probably learnt by trying to tell all my clients that if you know, if you come to 3 sessions one week and you used to come into 1, like that's a win. Enjoy it. If you decide to eat something healthy rather than drinking 100 beers on a Saturday, like that's a win. Like you've got to enjoy those little wins, and all those little wins add up, and eventually you'll get to where you want to get to. But rather than just focusing on where you want to get to, you're going to enjoy the process 1,000 times more.
Yeah, it's like everyone who's, you know, achieved all these insane, amazing things, it's never just one thing that they did. It's all the little tiny decisions that they made along the way.
Yeah.
And that would be, it's like fitness is the best example. I actually use fitness a lot when I'm trying to tell my students about practicing. Yeah. Like it's like going to the gym.
Yeah.
You know, we'll isolate one part of their voice and just work on that little area. The same as, you know, just working your arm one day. And then they all go, oh yeah, I get it. That makes sense.
It's a good analogy. It's really simple.
Yeah, and because, you know, your vocal cords are like little muscles, so you got to build them up every day. But I got sidetracked then. What were we saying?
I can't remember.
Oh yeah, I can't remember. I must have been very good. No, it was. Oh, the little decisions.
Yeah, process.
It's the little things. Like that's it. Like if you want to eat better, you have to make all the little decisions. It's not just having one thing.
Well, if you want to eat better, and there's 7 days in a week, and you eat 3 meals a day, there's 21 meals. If you fuck up 3 of them, who cares? Like you're 18 out of 23, out of 21. You're doing pretty well. Like it's. I think a lot of people fall down because they, 1, try and make everything happen super quick, but 2, they block everything out as to one giant goal. Whereas, you know, if you like use the eating one, if you want to get better at eating and you're eating 6 good meals and 15 shitty ones a week, cool. This week let's do 7. Next week let's do 8. And then, you know, in 3 months' time you'll probably be hitting 18 or 19 good meals, and
and then it becomes normal.
Like you're fueling your body, and exactly that becomes the norm.
Yeah,
that's really interesting. Good. All right.
I was so excited then. I was like, ooh, what's going to happen?
I was thinking something and then I just lost it. So that's the first time I've had like a proper mind blank doing this for a while.
Oh, were you just thinking about food? Is that why?
Yeah, I think so. I haven't had lunch, so that could be it.
That'd be it.
What's the plan now? What's the future look like for Coach Music and your touring? Do you know?
God, I have so many plans. Like,
throw them out there.
My mind is just bonkers.
That's cool.
But I see like Coach Music being like a bit of a spider web for a lot of different things that I want to start. And I think that Sing It Out is maybe just another leg for that.
So Sing It Out's what the name of the tour was?
Sing It Out, yeah. Cool. So Sing It Out. I always tell my students, like, just let it go, just sing it out. So
you should do like team PDs for like businesses.
Oh yeah.
I'd get our crew around that.
That's a really cool idea.
That'd be fun.
Oh, well, see, there's another leg.
Yeah.
But I've just got like a lot of things that I want to build next year, and I think that I've spent some time, doing a lot of the admin work and, scheduling a tour, and I would love my next stage to get is someone to actually help me with just making sure they can handle all that admin stuff, especially just the scheduling for all the teachers and making sure the processes are really good. I really want to get a space where, we can teach from and grow.
Yeah.
And with the ultimate things that I want, like, I don't even want to say them out loud because,
Say them out loud, mate. This is a safe place.
I really want to support, like, the whole reason I started Coach Music is to support up-and-coming musicians. And with everything that I'd been through, I felt like a team was really important for me. And so even with our Sing It Out tour that we're doing, like, all of those artists, I believe in them and I want to support them. And awesome. I would love to have some sort of record label or something that I can just support up-and-coming Australian music and kind of bring it back to the roots of what it truly should be, and actually helping them to find themselves and developing them. So that's an ultimate goal for me.
That's cool.
But yeah, for the meantime, I want to just keep growing Coach Music, and I want our culture to remain how it has been this year. It's really important to me just how supportive everyone is of each other, and just the amazing environment that I feel like we're creating. And yeah, I want to put Sing It Out back on the road next year, and we really want to do the East Coast.
Cool.
So, yeah, that's
That'd be amazing.
That's the goal. Yeah.
That's cool. Tour bus.
We need one of those Virtus buses. I was eyeing that off too. I was like,
Yeah, you can just load everyone into the back and you're sweet.
That's it, and it's a bit of a fun time. So
that's exciting.
Yeah, that's the goal. See as many students as we can and change lives.
Awesome. That's an amazing purpose.
Yeah, it's cool.
Use the word culture. How did you create your culture?
I created it from knowing what I didn't want it to be. I've experienced cultures which are toxic before, and that can easily happen, especially as a company grows. So that's why I say culture, because I'm really mindful of it, and I know that our goal is to grow, and it's also to give. And I think that if we grow and we lose our sense of who we are, then what's the point?
Yeah.
So I'm always telling my students, just little reminders constantly, because in something like this, girls can be girls, things can happen, and it just becomes like, I want to be famous and I want to do this. And so I always just remind them of the whys, why they do it. Music should make them happy. It's not about, everyone's goal, same with fitness, is different.
Yeah.
It might not be that they want to be a supermodel. It might be that they just want to feel good on the inside.
Spot on.
So I'm constantly just reminding them that they don't have to feel pressure. They don't have to feel like they have to achieve a certain thing. It might be that they just want to come to that lesson every week, and they just want to sing around a campfire to their friends.
I like that.
Yeah. So I really want our culture to remain really strong, and I think that it will, because we know what it is and we just keep projecting it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the more I dive into culture and leadership and all these kind of things, if it's driven from the top down and then everyone else in the organisation buys into it, life's good, and you'll keep moving forward. And then it's all got to keep coming back to that why, as to why you're all doing it, so that if you start to stray away from the culture, you can check yourself and pull yourself back into it.
Have you read any of the Simon Sinek books? Yeah, is that why you into the why?
Yeah, that's like that. That's kind of been a big area of my personal development, like the last 8-12 months.
Yeah.
Is just reading his books, listening to his books.
He's great,
multiple times. Like the Golden Circle is up on the wall behind you. And it's just being able to listen to. I'm big on if there's someone, there's always going to be someone that's done something that you want to do. So you, especially in the age of information with podcasts and books and audio books and all that kind of stuff, and other business owners, things like that, just have the conversation and start talking and listening to people.
Yeah. Yeah, you're a really good leader. I'm started reading his book on leadership.
The Leaders Eat Last.
Leaders Eat Last.
I finished that for the third time like a week ago.
Really?
It's so good.
So I love it. Like, I've just the start of it and I've already learned something.
Yeah.
It's so true. And I've worked for people before and it has felt the complete opposite, and that respect and that loyalty doesn't really remain there, and it is just because maybe they don't care as much. And so I
don't care as much, but then they move away from why they're doing what they're doing, and they forget it, which is easy. Like it's an easy thing to do, so it's so important that you check yourself. I love that premise that, like in the Marines, they always let the younger guys eat first, which is just that's counterintuitive. But then when you think about it, well, if all of those guys are fed first, then the whole organisation is going to move together as a team.
Well, that's it, because everyone is equal. Like, you're all there for that same reason, and just because you might be at the top of it doesn't mean that it shouldn't be just as important to everyone else. I think he's great. I've picked up on your whys. Amazing book.
Yeah, that's a word that I'll continue to use daily. What is our why? What is my why? Why are we doing this? And then everything moves forward. Yeah. I've got a bunch of questions for you. Okay. You can be as succinct or as rambly as you would like. What advice would you give a 15-year-old version of yourself?
To find her why.
Awesome.
I never had a why. I just thought, okay, this is what I'm doing. Yeah. So I would say, ask yourself why. Do you think you thought you knew why you were doing it back then? I don't think I actually stopped and reflected why.
Yeah.
I think I just
did it.
Just did it because everyone said that that's what I was going to do.
Yeah.
And then when I started asking why, I started changing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. If money wasn't an issue, or if you knew you couldn't fail, what would you do with your life?
Oh, exactly what I'm doing right now.
Best answer ever. I like that's so cool because then there's no regrets because you're just chasing the stuff you want to do.
And I don't think that money is ever a limitation on anything.
No.
Actually, I need to tell you one story.
Hit me.
So I kind of blanked this off, but after I finished my event course, went through all these things, I was like, oh, I want to do my own event. I did the Coach Couch. And so I started kind of similar to this, but in a live event space. So I would interview an inspiring person and they would tell me their story and to a live audience. It was really fun. And I liked the whole aspect, everything, like organising all the little things. I just liked it. Anyway, and so for the last one we did, I interviewed Molly Meldrum.
Awesome.
And I had to he was going to cost me for 1 hour $6,000 plus GST, so $6,600.
Yeah.
And I was renting, had no money. I was like, oh man, I really want him. And originally he'd said he was $12,000, and I emailed back, $6,000? And they said yes. I was like, oh no.
She said 4.
Yeah,
she said 3.
4. She said 2. Anyway, so I had to put a deposit down on him.
Yeah.
And I had $3,000, I think it was maybe $800 in the bank.
Yeah.
And the only reason that I had this extra $1,000 was someone had kicked my side mirror in and my insurance money had come through. So I had this extra money in my account. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. So I transferred $3,300 to Molly Meldrum. Probably didn't even need my money.
Yeah.
And I lived on the rest of my money for the next few weeks. And then I had to sell tickets because I had to make the money back because otherwise I was screwed.
Yeah.
So I did everything in my power. And the thing is that I've always found I love taking risks because every time I do it, I make it happen. There's no option. I have to do it.
You realise when you have to do it, you realise how hard you can actually work and how focused you can actually be.
Oh, I was constantly tireless. Anyway, on the night at the end, we counted the tickets. All the ticket sales came in. We made $6,612.
Yes. That's the best. That is an amazing story.
I made $12. Yeah.
Yeah, but what did you use that $12 on?
Yeah. Probably some of the decorations.
That's really cool. Bravo.
Yeah.
That's a rad story.
Really funny.
If you could be remembered in one sentence, what would it be?
No one's asked that before. Remembered in one sentence. I'm trying to think of something really creative and awesome. But I think I just want to be remembered as a good person.
Perfect.
I think that's it.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I want people just to go, Alanna was so kind, and then just tell great stories about my life.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Who do you look up to and why?
Who do I look up to and why? Who do I look up to? God, I actually don't know right now. What have I been at the moment I'm going through a Simon Sinek phase.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely looking up to him. But I think that for a long time I had a lot of idols and people that I was like, I want to be you, but I don't think that I have one at the moment.
Cool.
No.
Then you realise they're just people too.
Yeah. I think so. There's definitely people who inspire me and that I'll sit in my car and listen to them talk and I really love it and I learn a lot from it and I feel they give me lots of insight.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's one person in particular that I'm admire right now.
Cool. I've stolen this question from one of the guys I've interviewed a couple of times, Ed from the Human Happiness Project.
Ooh,
what is happiness to you?
What is happiness to me? Happiness is if I do you mean as in
however you want to...
How would I describe happiness?
To you.
To me, happiness is walks with my dog and just talking about innovative ideas with my boyfriend.
Awesome.
That makes me really happy. We love those conversations.
Cool.
But I think the number one thing for me is just feeling really excited about what I do. that makes me really happy. But it's an interesting question. What is happiness to me? Yeah. There's so many things that make me happy. I have all these like little pictures going on in my mind.
I like it. What are you most proud of?
I think that I'm proud of how resourceful I can be sometimes. I think that makes me proud.
Yeah.
I think. Do you mean like proud of myself?
Yeah.
What makes me proud about myself?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a really nice question. I always tell my students, I'm like, you have to like write down 3 things that you like about yourself, because they always talk about things that they don't like.
Yeah.
I think that I like that somehow I feel like I have. I think someone told me once that I had a really high emotional quota, and I liked that.
That's cool.
And so I think that's maybe one of the things that I'm proud about myself.
Perfect.
Because a lot of people that I connect with seem to just open up and tell me about their life, and I'm always there to listen.
It's a very powerful thing to have.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Flip side, what are you most ashamed of?
Ooh, what am I ashamed of? My God, what am I ashamed of myself?
It's an interesting question.
It is an interesting one. It makes you think.
Yeah.
I'm ashamed that, I've recently turned vegan.
Boo.
And I'm ashamed sometimes that I still have a leather wallet.
One of my mates calls himself 99% vegan because he has a leather belt.
Yeah.
We can play on.
There you go.
There you go. I like that.
Are you like, I'm going to delete this whole podcast?
Yeah,
Just
maybe.
done?
No, not at all. Everyone can do what they want. As long as they don't hurt other people.
I agree.
If you could give everyone in the world one personality trait, what would it be?
If I could give them all one personality trait. Kindness.
Kindness is magic.
Yeah.
Good.
Kindness is magic. Yeah.
What are first 3 things come into your head? What are you grateful for?
I am grateful for my boyfriend. I love him.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out. He's the best. I'm grateful for my family. So grateful for my family, like my extended family, all of them. And I'm grateful that I am able to say that I love my job.
That's huge.
And I'm grateful. Same thing. But I'm grateful that when you're at a dinner party and everyone's talking about their life, I'm grateful that I actually want to talk about what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes when people don't, I go, what do you mean? Like, tell me.
Yeah. It's something that like I struggle with people that don't have something they're passionate about, or at least don't want to chase and find it.
Yeah.
Because like by all means you don't have to know what you want to be doing or what your why is, to borrow from old mate. But if you're not throwing yourself out there and trying a bunch of different stuff, you're probably never going to know.
Yeah.
And that would scare the shit out of me.
So true. It's like when people say, I'm not creative. I think everyone's creative in their own way.
Yeah.
And you've got to find those things, because usually they make you excited. And how sad if you don't get excited every day.
Yeah. Creativity comes out when you find something you're passionate about.
Yeah.
Cool.
Absolutely.
If you could invite 3 people to dinner, dead or alive, who would they be?
Okay, so I think that I have to invite Taylor Swift, because I just want to know what the hell's going on with her. Like, what is she doing with her life? Okay, I'd have to invite Elon Musk, because I just want to sit inside his brain for a while. I haven't, but it's sitting there ready for me to read. I'm
Game
ready.
changer.
Yeah, I've heard it's really good. And you know what? I think that I would invite Richard Branson, because I just think he's a legend.
Have you read his books?
Yeah. And you know what? I actually want him to return the favour, and I want him, nice. I want him to invite me to the island.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Yeah. So, it's basically just for a return invitation.
2 of those 3 I would love to have at a dinner party.
Yeah. So, like, Taylor Swift's obviously, like, 15-year-old Alanna still sitting inside me.
Yeah.
But, I'm just confused
that'd be
about her
interesting.
whole album. Yeah, and you know what? I'm really intrigued, because I think that Taylor Swift is a really amazing marketer, and I just want to know, like, what she thinks. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That'd be really interesting.
Yeah, everything she does, it's so well thought out, and, it's very strategic, and I just would love to know what it would, like, how it would feel to actually have to live your life like that, because her life...
Maybe that's her.
Yeah.
No, don't think so.
Nah, I'm not sold.
I don't think I'm up to date with what's going on in Tay-Tay's life as much as I should.
Man, I'm up to date with so much stuff I shouldn't be because I work with teenagers every day.
So you're just hearing from them.
Yeah.
So what's Taylor done now?
I know. Oh my god. Yeah. So I'm up to date with all the things.
I like it. All right, a couple of favourites to finish off.
Okay.
Favourite book.
My favourite book. Do you know that I actually loved Girl Boss by Sophia Amoruso? Yeah.
Nice.
And I think it was more just the girl power in me.
That's cool.
Yeah. But that was an inspiring book for me because she built something so huge from nothing. I love stories like that.
Yeah.
But I do have a lot of favourite books. Yeah.
Cool.
But,
one will do.
Yeah, that one.
Favourite podcast.
Okay, so obviously Vertis.
Stop it.
And How I Built This.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm always just dreaming about what I would say to Guy Raz every time.
I said that before, but it's in my it's in my subscribed podcast.
Yeah.
But I've never listened to it. It's been there for probably 18 months.
Yeah, I love it. I think that he interviews some really interesting people, and I learn a lot from it. Just the stories, they're cool.
That's awesome. Favourite way to spend a Sunday afternoon?
At the beach. Yeah, just I don't know, just being outside. Being with nature, turning everything off and just completely just being relaxed. I think it's good.
Perfect segue. Favourite way to disconnect?
Yeah.
That?
Yeah, probably that.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think that I try hard to disconnect as much as I can on the weekend, but Sunday's a good day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Favourite TV show?
Oh, favourite TV show? I don't really watch TV.
Cool.
Yeah. I sometimes watch Netflix and their series.
Throw one at me.
Well, recently I just watched The Sinners. Have you watched it?
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's just epic. my head. But yeah, the only time I really watch stuff is just to tune out for a little bit. But yeah, I'm not really that big on TV.
Cool. Favourite advice you've ever been given?
That whenever anyone is angry, they're just sad.
Oh.
Yeah, I love that advice because I think that sometimes we get really emotional about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you just got to go. You know what? They're upset about something. Let's work out what it is.
That's cool. Favourite advice you've ever given, or favourite piece of advice that you give to your students?
I guess it depends, but I'm constantly giving them advice on setting goals. I really believe in goal setting.
Awesome.
It's. If you I don't know, you say I drive a Jeep, right? When I bought my Jeep, I realised how everyone else, there's so many Jeeps on the road. I was like, I've never seen this before.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same thing with setting your goals. That once you actually write it down and you envision it, then you start seeing all the little ways that you can get it.
Yeah.
So I'm all about telling them to set goals.
Perfect. Last one. Favourite quote?
Ooh. I don't know. Favourite quote that I remember. I don't know. What's my favourite quote? I love quotes as well.
Come on.
You're really putting me on the spot. I'm trying to think of an epic one. That one by Richard Branson, how he says that businesses are like buses and there's a new one around every corner.
Good.
I like that one.
That's cool.
That's a cool one. There's always opportunities everywhere.
Definitely. That's huge. If people want to get around Coach Music and sing it out, how can they do that?
They can check us out online. Yeah.
Awesome.
My website's up. It's coachmusicacademy.com.au. Follow us on Instagram. And if you work at a school, someone who does, we really want to bring the Sing It Out tour around Australia next year. So yeah, hit us up.
You have to bring it to Team Vertis at some point.
We will. We'll have a big concert in the factory. That'd be awesome.
Amazing. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Lucky.